KFR, a division of Bell Media. We are AM 1150. News, talk, and sports.
The early edition with Phill and Gord for Enterprise RV, your best choice for RV parts and accessories in the Okanagan. Enterprise RV, Highway 97 North and Old Vernon Road.
Rise and shine with the Okanagan's most up-to-date information. This is the early edition with Phill, Johnston, and Gord Vizzuti on Kelowna's information station, AM 1150.
It was some months ago that I first had a conversation with Kane Blake from Dirty Works, a landscaping company here in the city. Kane Blake had been in the backcountry and was absolutely disgusted by what he found. He couldn't go down any of the forestry roads, any of the logging roads, any of the backcountry roads without finding piles of garbage where city residents, urban dwellers, deposited all manner of litter and garbage that they couldn't be bothered to take into the landfill, loaded it into a pickup truck, into a van, into the trunk of a vehicle, got somewhere around a corner out of sight of the rest of the world, opened up the trunk, dropped the tailgate, opened the sliding side doors of the van, and whoop, out into the bush. It's been going on for years. I have no idea what woke Kane Blake up or stirred the anger in this man, but something did, and he decided on his own that it was time to get something done about it. Cleaned up Hostel Lake Road, but this past weekend, November the 5th, was out in the bush again with a bunch of volunteers and cleaned up tons and tons and tons of waste from our regional forests. Kane Blake, good morning to you.
Good morning.
What was it that jammed it into your side that hurt so bad that got you so damn mad you decided you were going to do something about it?
That's a good question. What got me that mad is I was sick of going to lakes, fishing with our kids, camping, going to campsites even, and you see garbage everywhere. That doesn't make it a fun trip. It really doesn't, and it looks really bad. Our license plates say beautiful British Columbia. Now, if you go into our forest, I can guarantee you it's not beautiful.
Well said, my friend. So your first foray into the bush was to clean up Hostel Lake Road. It was a Herculean task. You had a dumpster provided by the Waste Management Regional District. Some other, well-meaning volunteers. It was a phenomenal day of cleanup, and tons came out of the bush.
Yep, I think our first cleanup, we brought out 3.8 tons of garbage.
Unreal. But this recent foray of yours on November the 5th set some new all-time records. It was someplace else. It started out with you wanting to clean up the remains of an individual who disappeared. Abandoned a truck and camp and camping gear. The man was a missing individual.
He was.
Yeah, and you went in and cleaned that up. That was the starting point of this last go-around.
It was. We, on our Facebook group, had set out to clean up his campsite and cabin. His cabin he had built was probably, I would say, almost 90% finished. Looked amazing and gorgeous. It's like a little cabin on the edge of a lake, something you would see in a painting. And somebody had gone in, I'm assuming doused it in gas and torched it.
Oh, man.
So everything was burnt to the ground. There was nails, glass, everything everywhere. So our amazing group of, I'm going to say right now, we had 50 amazing volunteers show up. It was our biggest turnout yet. I couldn't even believe it. I was almost speechless to see that many people show up. And we had kids of all ages there, and even I think our youngest was 2 or 3 years old, and he was still bringing little pieces of wood and garbage to the trailer. And we got it cleaned up in no time with that many people. So we sort of had a little group meeting on the road there and said, let's just keep cleaning. We're here, why not? We ended up cleaning 5 locations that day. Not just the one, the 2 locations from Terrence Michaels, but we managed to clean up 5 locations. We ripped apart a truck camper with an excavator that Win Rentals graciously donated.
Yeah, I saw that they sent a mini excavator up there to give you a hand. It was just the tool you needed.
It sure was, Phil. You know, we had 2 hydraulic dump trailers as well, and the mini excavator, and we got the camper ripped apart in the trailer and taken over to the dumpster in a matter of minutes. And then there's a shooting range as well up there that we got cleaned up. And then the big one that everybody's jaw dropped when we got to this site was there's a site by Big White on Big White Road turnoff. We got in there, and if anybody's ever been on our Facebook page or seen any of the media releases, when we first started, there's a photo of 3 trucks in a car in a gravel pit somewhere. And that's where we went, and we got there, and apparently in the last week, somebody had gone in, they torched all the vehicles, spread even more garbage everywhere. And, you know, there was a chemical spill, which I'll touch base on in a minute here, but we cleaned up all that garbage. Now, ADC Recycling, who's an extremely proud sponsor of us, they let us use their electromagnet truck again with a big grapple, and our friend that works there, Andre, had brought in an 80-yard bin. That's a really, really large bin. That's 2 of those really big dumpsters.
Yeah, that's a huge bin.
It is. And we managed to squeeze it in there and throughout the whole cleanup. And at the end of the day, when we went and weighed it in, that truck weighed, with metal, 21,000 pounds, which is actually 10.5 tons of scrap metal we pulled out of the forest.
Unbelievable.
There was 5 vehicles in that trailer, as well as nails, engines, anything anybody dropped that was metal ended up in that bin.
Listen, I'm going to run out of time, and I want to go to a very important point here. A, you've created the Okanagan Forest Task Force. So you've created a nonprofit to kind of look after the business side of this thing.
I have,
but you're also trying to run your own business. You're a landscaping consultant contractor. You've got a company called Dirty Works.
I am.
Is it paying the price for this new passion of yours?
It is, but it's always worth it. I mean, if I could be doing this full time, I would. Yeah. I really would.
There's a lot of people that would like to ask you to do this full time.
And depending on how things go, you know, because of our sponsors, we might be even able to do that. Like one of our sponsors, Envirometal Towing. It's a good friend of mine, Marlon. He has a flat deck tow truck, and he's even said, you know, when we can, if there's a vehicle somewhere in the bush, you need to get out of there because we don't have the means. We're a nonprofit organization.
They'll come in and get it for you.
They'll come in and take it for us.
Listen, I'm done and against the clock. Kudos to you for the work that you're doing. I understand that at some point in time, Bear Creek, Maine is going to be the target and the object of your affection. And if there was ever a massive, monstrous cleanup effort to be launched, it would be Bear Creek, Maine. That may be beyond the capabilities of, but to Kane Blake and the rest of his Okanagan Forest Task Force, job well done.
This is the early edition with Phill Johnston and Gord Vizzuti on Kelowna's information station, AM